The calendar, How Luisa Received the Gift, from the Book of Heaven Volume 1, by Luisa Piccarreta. Part 2. I am very much wary of those souls who attribute what they do to themselves, wanting to make of my graces as many thefts. On the other hand, with those who know themselves, I am generous in pouring my graces in torrents. Knowing very well that they can attribute nothing to themselves, they are grateful to me, they hold it in that esteem which befits it, and they live with the continuous fear that, if they do not correspond to me, I may take away from them that which I gave, knowing that it does not belong to them. It is all the opposite in the hearts which reek of pride. I cannot even enter into their hearts because they are so swollen with themselves that there is no space in which to put myself. These miserable ones take my graces into no account, and they go from fall to fall, up to their ruin. Therefore, on this day I want you to make continuous acts of humility. I want you to be like a baby wrapped in swaddling clothes, who can move neither a foot to take a step, nor a hand to work, but expects everything from his mother. In the same way, you will stay close to me like a baby, always praying me to assist you, to help you, always confessing your nothingness, in sum, expecting everything from me. I tried to do as much as I could to content him. I would make myself smaller, I would annihilate myself, and sometimes I reached the point of feeling my being as almost undone, in such a way that I could not work, nor take one step, or even one breath if he did not sustain me. I saw myself as so bad, that I was ashamed of being seen by people, knowing myself as the ugliest, and, in reality, I am still so. So, as much as I could shun people, I shunned them, saying to myself, oh, if they knew how bad I am, and if they could see the graces that the Lord is giving me, for I wouldn't tell anything to anyone, and that I am always the same, oh, how horrified they would be with me. Then, in the morning, when I would go again to communion, it seemed that in coming into me he made feast for the contentment he felt in seeing me so annihilated. He would tell me other things about the annihilation of myself, but in ways which were always different from the previous time. I believe that he spoke to me not once, but hundreds of times, and if he had spoken to me thousands of times, he would have had always new ways to speak about the same virtue. Oh, my divine Master, how wise you are, had I at least corresponded to you. I remember that one morning, while he spoke to me about the same virtue, he told me that because of lack of humility I had committed many sins, and that if I had been more humble, I would have kept closer to him and I would not have done so much evil. He made me understand how ugly sin is, the affront that this miserable little worm had made to Jesus Christ, the horrendous ingratitude, the enormous wickedness, the harm caused to my soul. I was so dismayed, that I did not know what to do in order to repair. I did some mortifications, I asked for some more from the confessor, but few were given to me, so they all seemed shadows to me, and I did nothing but think about my sins, though clinging more and more to him. I had such fear of moving away and of doing worse than before, that I myself cannot express it. When I was with him, I did nothing but tell him of the pain I felt for having offended him. I kept asking for his forgiveness, I thanked him for having been so good to me, and I said to him from the heart, see, O Lord, the time I have lost, while I could have loved you. I was unable to say anything but the grave evil I had done. Finally, one day, reprimanding me, he told me, I do not want you to think about it. When a soul has humbled herself, being convinced of having done wrong, and has cleansed her soul in the sacrament of confession, and is ready to die rather than offend me, it is an affront to my mercy, it is a hindrance to drawing her close to my love, because her mind is always trying to wrap itself with the mud of the past. She also prevents me from letting her take flight toward heaven, because she is always with those ideas wrapped within herself, as she tries to think about it. And then, see, I no longer remember anything. I have perfectly forgotten about it. Do you see any rancor or shadow on my part? And I said to him, No, Lord, you are so good. But I felt my heart split with tenderness. So, are you the one who wants to carry these things on? And I, no, I don't want to. And he, let us think about loving and contenting each other. From that time on, I did not think about it so much. I did as much as I could in order to content him, and I prayed that he himself would teach me what I should do in order to repair for the time past. And he said to me, I am ready to do what you want. See, the first thing that I told you I wanted from you was the imitation of my life, so, let us see what you lack. Lord, I said to him, I lack everything, I have nothing. And he said to me, Do not fear, little by little we will do everything. I myself know how weak you are, but it is from me that you must draw strength. I don't remember it in sequence, but I will say what I can. And he added, I want you to be always upright in your actions, with one eye look at me, and with the other eye look at what you are doing. I want creatures to disappear from you completely. If you receive a command, do not look at the people, no, rather, you must think that I myself want you to do what you are being commanded. So, with your eye fixed in me, you will not judge anyone, you will not look at whether the thing is painful or enjoyable, whether you can do it or not. Closing your eyes to all this, you will open them to look at me alone, you will take me with you, thinking that my gaze is fixed on you, and you will say to me, Lord, for you alone I do this, for you alone I want to work, no longer a slave of the creatures. So, if you walk, if you work, if you speak, in anything you do, your only aim must be that of pleasing me alone. Oh, how many defects you will avoid, if you do this. Other times, he would say to me, I also want that, if people mortify you, insult you, contradict you, you keep your gaze fixed in me, thinking that from my own lips I am saying to you, Daughter, I myself am the one who wants you to suffer this, not the creatures. Remove your gaze from them, you and I, always, all the others you must destroy. See, I want to make you beautiful by means of these sufferings. I want to enrich you with merits, work your soul, render you similar to me. You will give it to me as a gift, you will thank me affectionately, and will be grateful to those people who give you the occasion to suffer, repaying them with some benefit. By doing this, you will walk as upright before me, nothing will ever again give you restlessness, and you will enjoy perfect peace. After I tried to exercise myself in these things for some time, now doing it and now falling, although I see clearly that I still lack this spirit of uprightness, and I am ever more confused, thinking of my great ingratitude, he spoke to me about, and he made me understand, the necessity of the spirit of mortification. Although I remember that in all these things that he told me, he always added that everything should be done for love of him, and that the most beautiful virtues, the greatest sacrifices, would become insipid if they did not take origin from love. Charity, he said to me, is a virtue that gives life and splendor to all of the others, in such a way that without it, they are all dead. My eye receives no attraction, and they have no power over my heart. Be careful, then, and let your works, even the least ones, be invested by charity, that is, in me, with me and for me. So, let's go back to mortification. He said to me, I want all your things, even the necessary ones, to be done in a spirit of sacrifice. See, your works cannot be recognized by me as mine, if they do not have the mark of mortification. Just as a coin is not recognized by the peoples if it does not carry on itself the image of their king, even more, it is despised and neglected, the same with your works, if they do not have the graft with my cross, they cannot have any value. See, now it is not about destroying the creatures, but yourself, making you die, that you may live only in me and of my own life. It is true that it will cost you more than what you have done, but pluck up courage, do not fear, it is not you who will do it, but I myself will work in you. So I received more lights about the annihilation of myself. He said to me, you are nothing but a shadow, as you try to grab it, it escapes you. You are nothing. I felt so annihilated, that I would have wanted to hide in the deepest abysses, but I saw myself incapable of doing it. I felt such blushing that I remained mute. While I was in this undoing of my nothingness, he said to me, draw near me, cling to my arm, I will sustain you with my hands and you will receive strength. You are blind, but my light will serve you as guide. See, I will place myself in front of you, and you will do nothing but look at me in order to imitate me. Then he said to me, the first thing I want you to mortify is your will. That self must be destroyed in you, I want you to keep it sacrificed as victim before me, so that your will and mine may become one. Aren't you happy? Yes, Lord, but give me the grace, for I see that by myself I can do nothing. And he continued, yes, I myself will contradict you in everything, and occasionally by means of creatures. And so it happened. For example, if I woke up in the morning and I did not get up immediately, the interior voice would tell me, you rest, while I had no other bed but the cross. Hurry up, not so much satisfaction. If I walked and my sight would run a little farther, he would immediately reprimand me, I do not want this. Do not let your sight move away from you but the length of one step, so that you won't trip. If I was in the countryside and I saw flowers and trees, he would say to me, I have created everything for love of you, and you, deprive your sight of this pleasure for love of me. Even in the most innocent and holy things, as for example the cloths for the altars, the processions, he would say to me, you must take no other pleasure but in me alone. If I was sitting while working, he would say to me, you are too comfortable, don't you remember that my life was a continuous suffering, and you? In order to content him, I would immediately shift to half of the chair, leaving the other half empty, and sometimes, jokingly, I said to him, see, O Lord, half the chair is empty, come and sit near me. Sometimes it seemed he would content me, and I felt such delight that I myself cannot express it. Sometimes, then, while I was working a little slowly and listlessly, he would say to me, hurry up, help yourself, for the time you gain by helping yourself you will spend with me in prayer. Sometimes, he himself would assign to me how much work I was supposed to do. Then I would pray him to come and help me. Yes, he would answer me, we will do it together, so that when you have finished, we will be more free. And it would happen that in 1 hour or 2 I did what I was supposed to do during the whole day. Then I would go to pray, and he gave me much light and told me many things, such that it would be too long if I wanted to say them all.